Hey guys, Mark Rodriguez here. With me is...
Juvie Chan, also known as Ninja Juvie, or you just call me Wendy. Hey everyone.
Yep, and you're watching the review Sanctum, where everything and anything may be reviewed. And yeah, we're going to follow up with The Room. We talked about the original Room, and now we're going with The Disaster Artist, which is kind of like the, I guess, behind the scenes story behind The Room and Tommy Wiseau and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it was based on a book written by Greg Sestero, and you know, this is kind of an older film too. I saw it once years and years ago. I forgot a lot about it, honestly, except for like a couple of scenes.
Yeah.
And this was Mark's first time watching it.
Yeah.
And I will say this because I didn't have the same feelings as I do now, because having, you know, rewatched The Room recently. Watching Disaster Artist, because between Disaster Artist and The Room when I saw it back then, it was a big gap since I had seen The Room. Watching this now and just having seen The Room, like, you know, a good while back, it was very painful to watch.
Well, I just feel bad for like the actors and stuff, because you know when you see a movie, you just see the movie. You don't see the behind the scenes and the directors or whatever and that kind of junk. And well, one thing I do want to say first and foremost, just real quick synopsis. It kind of goes into how Greg met Tommy. They moved to LA, right? And
from San Francisco.
And they tried, you know, to get into acting in different parts here and there. And Tommy himself was just sucking because I mean he just gives his delivery in that bad way and the accent and all that junk. That eventually it's like, well, let's make our own movie.
He's from the Great Bayou of Louisiana.
But anyways, yeah, it's like, let's make our own movie, and then we get into that stuff. So one thing I want to say first and foremost is I'm real glad that we watched not just watched The Room first, but also we did the review of The Room first, because the movie kept pointing out like the exact same criticisms that I made in the last review, and I wanted to come like from me and not just me like because they said in the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was the same thing. Like the actress herself was confused about the breast cancer scene, about like does this like come back later? You know, so they don't understand. And the way Danny's like hopping in bed with both Lisa and Tommy, so he's all like, so how old is my character supposed to be in this? And not only that, but also because he's the drug.
And then like the listeners like you know, we said you're 15 or 16 or whatever. You know, it's like I'm 26. Okay, whatever.
yeah. So a lot of those little things here are not making sense, and the acting and the whatever, and it does show that the actors, like I said before too, they were all trying their hardest, and Tommy was just Tommy, you know?
No.
And even then, it's the irony because they keep showing like how Tommy's trying to get his actors pumped up and whatever, like the scene with, I think, the whole thing with the drug dealer and Danny, like he was not whatever, and it's like helping him, you know, do the scene with more emotion and stuff. Yeah. And then also to see where Peter confronted Mark, you know, you're cheating, you know, with Lisa, whatever.
Yeah, he's like Greg need to be more assertive and more aggressive in the accusation and stuff.
Yeah, but then Tommy himself is not. And I just felt so bad for everyone involved. And the one thing about the movies that even in real life also is that we don't know where Tommy gets his money. Because he financed the whole movie. Yeah,
and I was telling Mark that ahead of time. I said the thing is, he has lots of money. Nobody knows where he's really from. Yeah. And all that other stuff. You know, he kept saying he's from. I remember he's from a southern area. Yeah. I just didn't recall that it was supposed to be like New Orleans.
Yeah. So they like went to like I guess a movie producer company or whatever, and I guess normally you're supposed to rent the equipment, and even that's kind of expensive. He just wanted to flat out buy the equipment and everything, and I heard that's what also the budget went to for buying the equipment, and you get all the actors and things, and you know all the casting and whatnot, and just wasting time. Like there was a part where they want to film an alley with green screen or whatever. Well, there's like an alley, like just filming the real alley over there. You know, we do it this way. It's a real Hollywood production. That's how you do it. And all that
apparently Greg's book, they said that's exactly how that played out.
Yeah. And apparently, I guess, if it's accurate, that's the thing, we'll go into that in a bit, but Tommy's like first scene actually on camera is the famous, I did not hit her, I did not, and all that, and it took like tons and tons of takes apparently, and I felt so bad for the camera people, and that's the thing too, the storyline was so weird, it didn't make sense, and it's kind of, I don't know how often that happens in actual movies where the camera people question the director because he's a director, right? He's a director. You're not gonna question.
But
like,
but he was it was the cameraman, but it was also the script, the director person.
Even though Tommy wrote the script, I guess he's like proofreading it or something.
Well, that's the thing. He didn't want to bother with it, so that's why he kind of ignored it. Really,
but I'm just saying they kept questioning him, and I'm thinking like in a movie, like you're not gonna, if Spielberg says whatever and it looks stupid, you're not gonna question him. So I was kind of surprised it did up the questioning.
No, but that's the thing. When the director is in the scene, someone else sees that, that's usually when you have your assistant director and all that stuff. I don't even think they even had that.
No, I don't know. But yeah, this stuff didn't make sense, and they're pointing out all the different inconsistencies and just how it is. And what was the thing? Yeah, well, now one thing the movie, I'm just kind of losing track of what order to go into all this because there's just so many crazy things.
I'll back you up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of other things. Oh yeah, the part that also made me feel bad for the actor, considering the fact that it's still based on the real event, so I'm assuming it happened that way. I feel so bad for the woman that got to play Lisa in the real movie. Now you see this, so it's like it's bad enough that she's forced to do the love scenes with So, but the movie portrayed it that oh my god, you got pimples, you're gross, get more makeup and whatever, and of course she's feeling she's somewhat kind of way, and the people are backing her up, and I just seeing the room and then seeing this that's how it was behind the scenes. I just felt so bad.
Yeah.
And then the people also were having lunch and stuff, the actors away from Tommy, and they're kind of like, hey, so can I ask, what's the movie actually about? And they're all like...
And of course they were having their little theories, like each person in the movie or something that helped happen in his life. And I hate to, going back to the nostalgia critic here and said, okay guys, there's a personal story here, directed, produced, written, all that stuff.
And then the other thing too was the scene where, what's his name, where Mark was talking about the woman that got beat up or hospitalized or whatever. And very funny story, Mark, and all that. And the director's we know it's your script and everything.
Seth Rogen's character?
Supposed to be, yeah.
Seth Rogen's character?
Like the main cameraman or something. And he was I know this is from your script and stuff, but it's not a funny story. Why are you laughing? Hey, real human behavior, okay? Humans do strange things. And he would just not...
Yeah, I'm looking at one.
Yeah, and he would not follow suit. They wanted okay, why don't we film maybe just at least one scene without the laughing? He still laughed, and the other guy's kind of he's not gonna do it, just whatever. Okay, that was good.
Yeah, and just based on that alone, that gives you a good idea as to how this movie played out. When it comes
and the scene with the I did not hit her. He kept fucking up the line or just forget what's the line again. What's the line again? And all that. And Mark gave him the idea, Greg, whatever, to use the bottle because that was it kind of gives him something to do with his. It kind of helps you remember the line.
Or just emotion.
Yeah, and the line still kind of sucked anyways, but the director's like, ooh, we got it.
So that's giving that's how the majority of the movie was shot. When anything involving Tommy anyway, because some of the takes, it's what were they thinking?
Yeah, I know.
But then again with the editing, remember, I was okay, this wasn't in the movie. I don't think it was mentioned, but part of the movie that was kind of exaggerated, that Greg and Tommy did have kind of fallen out, but they said not in the way that the movie portrayed it. They had their differences or whatever, but reason Greg and Tommy weren't spending that time together or really, hanging or talking and all that other stuff, it wasn't because Greg was didn't want to be around him or whatever, or Tommy's just, or whatever. Okay, being Tommy. It was because Tommy was busy editing, promoting, and all that other stuff for the film, and that takes a lot of time. So he edited the film.
Oh boy. Yeah, and then the last part was also whenever he did the famous, he ended himself and stuff. He still got right back up and kept doing more stuff. The director's okay, well, is he getting right back up? And stuff. Hey, yeah. It was. I don't know. It's in other words, everyone was confused about what the fuck was going on. It only made sense in Tommy's mind, I guess. And then, so there are other differences here and there. But one thing I did notice is that I did see that the actor that played Peter did originally get fired. and they have to get the other guy to do his scenes in the second half of the movie. That's why that random dude just kept showing up. Like I knew it, like I said in the last video, that it had to have been like that dude was a stand-in for Peter, was too late to whatever. But the thing is, this movie didn't show that though. The movie,
they kept him.
He did threaten to fire him and whatever, but then kept them. And then the thing I noticed the most was at the end when they actually all went to the big movie premiere, he was still there.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Like, I was like,
okay,
wait a minute.
I'm sure he would have fucked off way before then. He wouldn't.
So I didn't know that part of it. Like I said, as I told you when we saw the room before I told you, oh yeah, the guy that played Peter, I know he either left or he got fed up or frustrated or something. I didn't know that he was actually fired.
Yeah, and then one thing I also found out is that while this movie made it like this is our movie and blah 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 blah, and Greg's gonna play Mark. Apparently, in the real version, since it was so crazy to hire and fire people, he fired, I guess, whoever was originally supposed to play Mark. So, Greg, you play Mark, and Greg didn't really want to because, all that time he had to spend doing it and all that. So that's another thing. Now, of course, the biggest difference, even I thought was kind of, wait a minute, near the end, was that so the movie came out, and everyone, the theater's packed, all people are watching and stuff. And at first they're kind of like, because come on, sex scene within the first 10 minutes, and you got Tommy and Franco's ass there and stuff.
Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah. So people were kind of whatever. People were making comments about, this is here, this is there. Well, why is he doing that? Whatever. But eventually people start laughing because due to Tommy's like overacting and stuff. So everyone's like laughing. It becomes like everyone just loved it. They kind of play it like maybe the movie didn't come out the way you wanted, but look, they're having a good time. And so they kind of made it like a feel good moment, to end this movie, the disaster artist movie, ended on a high note, like a feel good moment. But unfortunately, in real life, people didn't like the movie. A lot of people walked out and whatever.
One of the actresses in the movie, the one that played Lisa's friend, she said that at the first screening, she said that a lot of people walked out after the first 5 minutes. And then I was saying, oh yeah, of course, because of the love scene at the beginning of the movie that is within that first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and so in real life, it did like really bomb out, and it's kind of like those things that became a so bad it's good classic over time and memes and internet. And I want to blame the nostalgia critic for that one too. But here for the concept of the movie, because it's still a movie you're watching and all that stuff. They went with the underdog route and made it seem like everyone loved it, at least in that schlocky way or whatever.
Yeah,
right then and there.
I mean, I don't remember. I kind of forgot that in some places, like every year, they actually would screen the room. Yeah. And some places, people have to make sure they have their spoons with them and all that stuff. It's a train wreck.
Yeah. Now, one thing I do want to say though, I gotta give real good credit to James Franco. He nailed the mannerisms. He nailed the accent down. And
even the quirkiness.
Yeah, and then there's times I guess when the movie's in broad daylight or places with lots of sun, you can still kind of tell it's Franco with the wig or whatever or the makeup or whatever. But there's some scenes when it's kind of dark or the lighting and stuff. Yeah, it looks like him. It looks like what's so.
We can't figure out if it's him or.
He's got the same weird lines and stuff he's got in his face. Like he's got the character down.
Disturbingly down.
I know.
Like I said, if you were to put those two beside each other and have them both talk, it would probably take a couple of seconds for me to realize, oh wait, that's James Franco, that is Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, and then another thing too is that to real nail it home, at the end of the movie, they do an extra post-credit thing. They do side-by-side comparisons of the real movie with their reenactments of it and everything. I gotta say, all the actors did a good job looking like the people. Especially Greg, when he grew out the beard, he looked exactly like the guy. Well, just like the real Greg, right? And stuff like that from the Room and everything. And at the end, there's an extra credit scene too, where this random dude shows up and tries to talk to Tommy. Tommy's what a weird guy, whatever. But it's the real Tommy Wiseau talking to
and
the Franco
we had to feel that it was Tommy Wiseau, but I was like, are we sure that's really not Franco playing two parts?
Yeah, I know. But that was the thing. It was
yeah, I said it just made me it was just so cringe not because of the acting, because of the stuff you as mentioned that happened behind the scenes with all the different actors and stuff, and also with Greg and Tommy's friendship. They said that was kind of glossed over a bit because there was more to it. It was more complex than the movie could show.
Yeah.
How did you feel? How would you describe Tommy's kind of his friendship to Greg?
It was
strange. strange.
Well, I mean, it was a bit on the homoerotic side. Not there's anything wrong with it, of course. But I'm sorry, but in the beginning when he was saying, "Hey, you only got the one bed, you can sleep in my bed" or something like that, and I have a feeling that he was waiting for him to say, "Sure, let's go." But then once Greg made that face, ha ha, I'm just kidding, just a joke. Oh, you should have seen your face.
Just kidding.
But his probably think, "Oh, I wish he said yes." I don't know. I'm just saying. But I think what happened also, Tommy's so weird. He has no friends. So now that he got Greg and he's a friend and stuff, that's why for him it hit him so hard that Greg was gonna move out with his girlfriend later on and all that and you know, stuff like that and
then also his attitude was kind of worse after that too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was always like a little off and eccentric, but he got even more short patient and I bet you that's when more of the firings happened after Greg moved out and to be with his girlfriend.
Yeah, and that was the thing too. That's why I felt so bad. I mean, the directors or whatever the fuck roles those people were that were like just or like, why is he doing it this way? What or like, you know, just he's good. Yeah, it's good. You know, like those people, okay.
Yeah, that's what made I just felt so sorry for everybody involved.
But I feel bad for Lisa and I feel bad for everyone else because he was like yelling and bitching at everyone else. He's just walking around naked and it's like, whoa, should have been a close set. Oh, who cares? Let them all see. You know, like.
It's supposed to be a closed set. Okay, I don't care if it's open. Everyone should see me. It's Hollywood movie. Brad Pitt did this and such as. It's Brad Pitt. You don't compare yourself to Brad Pitt.
Yeah, but not only that, but I don't think Brad Pitt did that. But anyways, at least not to everyone.
Not like that.
Yeah.
That's
so I feel bad how they were treated, how you were yelled at, and then there was a part where there was like I guess no AC, and he came late.
Yeah,
and the older lady actually passed out due to the heat.
And
he was like, "Hey, what's she doing? She taking a nap or something? What's going on?" She passed out, you idiot. Whatever. You're like.
Yeah. So. Well, like I said, apparently the movie was 99% faithful to the book, with some things kind of exaggerated or a little underplayed for the sake of the movie. Like, for example, the ending with the standing ovation and Tommy Fowler saying that, oh, it's comedy. But that did happen, but it happened so many years later where he claims that, oh, it was supposed to be a dark comedy the whole time. You know, he said that way later.
Yeah.
And also the other thing, I think I mentioned it to you because you were asking why is it in the room. I said I think it's supposed to be because it's supposed to be a play, and that is true that originally it was meant for the stage, but they wanted to but I guess Tommy wanted it in the movie because he said more people see a movie than a play.
Yeah, well, I mean that is true though, but
yeah.
So the movie was a good movie with with entertainment and all that stuff. It's just.
I think my biggest thing too is the thing with Greg, the whole Greg and Tommy thing. I still say Greg was a little too admirable of Tommy.
Mm.
I mean, I can see it in some ways, but it just seemed to get to a point where it seemed like hero worship, and I don't think that's. I think that's one of the things they said they had to like kind of change up or whatever, because that hero worship that Greg seemed to have with Tommy, like Tommy could do no wrong, kinda.
I don't know. I just think it's so weird because, and also it was kind of a weird transition too because the movie started out with them in some kind of tryout theater place.
They're in a class. There was an acting class.
Yeah. So Greg was like horrible. He was like horrible, nervous, could barely talk. I don't know how he went from that to being a somewhat decent actor within a couple of weeks or months when he moved.
Years.
That was kind of really was years.
Yeah, because it started in 1998.
Oh, it just kind of fast forward. I must have missed that part.
No, it's sort of like
because it made it sound like he met Tommy at the class. They hung out a couple of times. Hey, I own my own apartment in LA. Let's go.
Oh yeah, it was like a few months later that he was getting more confidence in himself.
Okay, well
that's pretty much how it was. So you can like I understand Greg thanking Tommy for that because he got the confidence to be not as nervous and stuff, but that was the main thing holding him back. Mm-hmm. Greg was like a very nervous person trying to be on stage.
Okay, well
that
makes more sense. Mm-hmm. I just I missed out that context. I thought it was like too quick, whatever.
Oh yeah, because they had the time.
It's still random though. I mean, you met him for a couple of months. You're gonna move out to LA randomly. You'll know him like that well, and it's like
his mother was saying, you don't know this guy.
Yeah, and then of course the mystery of where's he really from. where's the money coming from? Like, how old is he really, and stuff like that.
And I said at the time, like I was telling Mark this too. I said at the time, we didn't know where he was really from because he kept saying he was from well, I said Southern State, but I didn't know which, and he was New Orleans.
Yep.
We never knew his age because he would never say it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was very vague.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I knew that he funded the movie, and the other thing that always was around, like, how did he fund it? How much did it cost? What were the costs? It's never been fully, put out there.
And stuff.
He just happened to have money, and then watching the movie, the disaster artist thing, he's in San Francisco, and then all of a sudden he said, "Oh, I rent an apartment in L.A." And then Greg was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, you own an apartment both in San Francisco and L.A.
Yeah, and then I, it came back to, oh, that's right, he has unlimited wealth somehow.
Yeah, and there was even a scene
and
where one of the camera guys or whatever was gonna cash the check, and he was surprised that it was cash.
And the banker was like, "It's like a bottomless pit," because he was expecting it to bounce the check.
It's like, I don't know, is Tommy doing like money laundering, like them people on Scamfish or something, like those doing something.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but anyways,
interesting film. Like I said, the room is old, and they had a disaster. The disaster artist is like almost 10 years old itself. So.
Yeah, but it is also a good, I guess, a companion piece. You want to watch The Room, then you can also watch this one to get more of the behind the scene, the story behind the story, I guess you want to say.
And then you can understand, and if you watch the review, you see like why it's so bad is good. I mean, it is good for a laugh, honestly.
Yeah.
But then if you watch the disaster artist very close after it, you're not gonna be laughing as much. So.
Yeah, you won't, because like I said, it's kind of hard watching it now, knowing how the actors were treated, how the people were treated
and I legit forgot about
crazy
all of
asshole.
that. And like I said, seeing it so close together, rewatching The Room, and then watching this after so close together, it's like, ooh, it's not like when I saw it back in like 2008 or 9 or 10 or whatever it was, then seeing the disaster artist. And, with that great big old so many years gap, and I hadn't seen The Room in a long time, it didn't have that same, it didn't hit the same.
Yeah.
But just watching this like about a week or so apart, it's hit differently because it's so fresh in the mind.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, that was our review here. For the movie itself, I gotta say, if you're a fan of The Room, it's a good movie to watch because all the behind the scenes and all the stuff like that.
Oh, I will say this too, with everything within The Room, because they said it probably was like a personal story, how each character represented probably something in his life.
Yeah.
Which I kind of joked about in a way, but, like Denny, like they said, he probably like the younger brother archetype, he wants to help out the younger brother, and, Lisa, someone that probably broke his heart, which I think is Greg. Oh God. And then you have what was it? And he said he wanted him to have lots of friends, and that's probably Tommy's way of wishing he did have a lot of friends, because that's one of the main things he had for his character, Johnny will have lots of friends, and the pretty girlfriend and the best friend and all of that. So I think the movie probably was reflective of his feelings on things.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. That's our review of the movie there. It's if you're a fan of The Room, you'll love this one. And James Franco did a very good job.
Disturbingly good job.
Oh God, he must have seen he must have seen The Room a lot of times and interviews and other things to really get like the mannerisms.
To nail it, yeah.
Oh man. But anyways, guys, this is Mark Rodriguez signing off here.
Yeah, and this is Wendy. I mean, go watch The Room, wait a good while, and then watch The Disaster Artist. So you can be as far removed from the movie as possible, so you can still laugh at that.
And then watch it at that order. Don't watch The Disaster Artist first.
No, because
it'll ruin it for you.
And don't forget your spoons.
Yep, don't forget your spoons. Well, catch you later, guys.
Bye.